Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. I've got a tough spot last session of the day. I know everyone's hungry for that happy hour, so. My name is Peter Palacios. I've been with UNT for a little over 11 years in various roles. Started in a CAFM type of position, moved into a GIS manager role, and now I'll get into my team in here in just a minute. But just a quick glance at our university. We're just up the highway from here, about 300 miles north, about 40 miles north of Dallas in Fort Worth area, in a little sleepy college town called Denton. We've got a system that oversees 3 distinct campuses, our flagship in Denton. We've got a campus in Dallas and Fort Worth, and we're about to build a 50-acre campus in Frisco, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Go Cowboys. We're a little, right around 900 acres, 7 million square feet, plus or minus, spread out over about 175 buildings. And some just, fun facts, 38 miles of sidewalk, over 5,000 trees that we've mapped on campus, et cetera. My team is a little over 2 years old. GIS and CAD were in distinct different groups within facilities, and about 2 years ago we consolidated under one team. We also brought in a capital planning function, position in the organization, a specific data person, kind of IT, jack of all trades, a little bit of database management, some application development. Essentially, if we need to figure out something technical, she's our go-to. And then our team, kind of a spread across, peanut butter spread across everyone, supports our records management, that's basically our archive, marketing communication, so that's internal and external to our department, outreach with other departments, outreach to campus, but also internal to our department to share the good work that we're doing, not just my team, but the facilities group in general. Business process improvements kind of got lumped in together with us. Essentially, if it can relate to information, we're responsible for it. So I kind of start with this one because this is really the bread and butter of how we've been able to integrate and go into some of the applications and use cases that we'll look at here in a second. But taking GIS is such a complicated, can be very complex concept to explain. Even people that have been practicing GIS for a very long time sometimes have a difficult time explaining what that is. I mean, I tell people, oh, what do you do? I said, people ask, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a GIS person. I run GIS. And they're like, GIS, what's that? I said, Google Maps. And they go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So I do Google Maps for campus. And the light bulb kind of goes on. But we started with this infographic because it was really important for us to explain to our internal facilities department, what the heck is GIS and how's it going to help me, right? What's it going to do for me? So we started with, what is this concept, the who, what, when, where of why we're doing what we're doing. And then how do we do that? Well, we use GPS, we look at a whole bunch of CAD drawings and space plans. We started integrating drones or unmanned aerial systems. And then we can put that all together in a central bucket, and then from there, spread it out to other different deliverables and use cases, and then of course, get a hold of us, right? So once we really started getting into the operations side is really where we started to hit the rubber meets the road, right? And so we started with our grounds department. We're a Tree Campus USA, a little over 11 years. It was an easy win. We got a lot of students involved. The grounds team was happy. They didn't have to keep the map up by themselves. We went to them, told them the benefits of this. Hey, get us the information. We can provide this spatial information, tabular information. We can report for you. And this is one example of a map book that they use to keep track of what's going on. It's still a very manual paper process, phone calls, emails, that kind of thing. But again, they saw the benefit that we bring to them, and so the communication opened up. We're tracking some very basic information right now with the future hopes of getting the student core to really help us with some volunteer geographic information. We're trying to figure out a way to build some applications, and we'll get to where we're going in a little bit, but to have the student body really feed us that information, kind of make it a game type of situation. Who can give us the most information on what the canopy is spread across campus. Utilities is really our bread and butter, and I'm going to focus on this one a little bit more than the rest of the slides. We had, like Chris said the other day, we had a Fred, right, and he was retiring, and all this information was walking out the door, and our AVP and everyone in the facilities was freaking out, right? Oh my God, David's leaving. What are we going to do? Campus is going to crumble. We're all going to, be out of a job. So I just started having coffee with him and going and building that relationship, building the trust. Started with coffees. Hey, I'm going to go on this call. Hey, can I jump in the van with you? Can I go check it out? Sure, yeah, come on. So we go on campus, and I'd crawl in the basements with him and get in the tunnels, and he'd show me all these things. And I mean, he's one of those guys that literally he could put his foot on the ground and say, 3 foot right there, 6-inch cast iron water line, boom, it's right there. So I started bringing these plans to him, and I said, hey, could you take a look at this? I don't know if this is right or not. Oh, no, that's wrong, scratched it all up. So then we started getting the plan work in, right? Digitizing the plan room, and then getting into the field with GPS equipment, ground truthing what we were seeing from the Word and from the plan. And again, this was really kind of the foundation of the GIS and why we wanted to get this system up and running, to capture all of that institutional knowledge to help our new staff and our operations continue to be more efficient. And this took a number of years. This was a grid approach. We took our campus, slapped a grid on it, and every week, coffee with David in the mornings, right around, and this expanded to other groups, right? Grounds saw what we were doing. The plumbing shop saw what we were doing. The electrical shop saw what we were doing. And again, it was outreach, right? We had to go pull the collaboration. We couldn't just sit there and wait, oh, geez, I hope somebody will tell us what's going on campus. We had to go get that information. So then we started just recently getting integrated with our CMMS data, pulling that information, looking at it spatially. This is the number one ticket that we get on our campus. It's too hot, it's too cold. So the senior director of maintenance came to us and said, can you show me where these people are calling from? I want to know, I want to see, is there any spatial patterns with my operational knowledge and what we're seeing in the data? Sure, yeah, so we can do that for you. And this spurred a number of different other scenarios where we worked with our maintenance team to look at the CMMS information and see if there's any spatial pattern recognition, right? Those of us in the GIS realm, we know this is kind of low-hanging fruit. It's an easy win, but for senior administrators, it's like a whole new world, right? It's like, oh my God, I can see work orders on a map? Yeah. Oh my God, you're amazing. I was like, it took 5 minutes, right? So this was one of those easy wins. This was one of those easy wins that, yeah. This was one of those easy wins that I can show that speaks to how empowering this data can really be for our operations and what we can do, right? So the question then is, okay, this was easy, but give me something hard, right? Let's think big. Let's expand this, and I'll get to what that means in a little bit. So then we go to the PDC group, the Planning, Design, Construction team, and say, you're doing all this CAD work for the civil packages, for the site work. You're a CAD group. You love CAD. We'll give it to you in CAD, and we'll train you and we'll teach you, and you can work in your native CAD programming environment. But when you give it back to us, because it was generated from our GIS, we can take that and slide it right back into our system. And once they saw the benefit of that, that their design work was actually going on the campus map, and it was being, properly maintained, again, they were wanting to give us that information, wanting to give us that information, and building that partnership and building that relationship. And the recent development has been the use of drones, the use of these amazing tools to look at our capital construction job sites and with centimeter grade accuracy point out utilities. Anything that you can see on that picture, you can measure. We use some technology that allows us to geo-reference that image against our GIS and essentially digitize heads up over the imagery where things are on that job site. This has saved a whole bunch of time. What used to take weeks with traditional boots on the ground, GPS technology, field work, now takes a day, really. So in this scenario, we're tracking the stormwater system. The blue dots are the structural piers. So once that building is built, once we actually cover it up, we can still look back, have historical imagery at a certain point in time, but also have an as-built map. Not just an as-built plan, but an as-built, true as-built map. Then we started engaging other campus departments. We went to our vice president of marketing and communications and said, listen, we can do a map for you that will be great. It will be so easy for you to maintain. Actually, you don't have to maintain it. We can provide that in a graphic format, Illustrator, whatever it is that you want, and it's accurate. It's always going to be precise. It's always going to be correct, and it's going to give you credibility. It's going to give the campus a new look. And this is printed and provided to thousands and thousands of visitors to our campus. This is a recent development. It's taken a while for them to kind of work and trust that we're going to provide them what they need. But once we were able to prove that, they were thrilled at the product that we provided them, and they just get a file, slide it into their marketing copy, and they're done. So their workflow got easier. So the next groups that we're going to be targeting is parking and transportation. They have their own map. There is dining. We have a whole bunch of outdoor dining options on our campus. Orientations, so student affairs, rec sports. There's all sorts of different user groups on campus that kind of have these little pockets of map making, and we want to try and provide them the authoritative source of information. And we started engaging with our Emergency Operations Center. Again, going and showing through Aloha and Cameo models that we can provide services for planning, right, and mitigation, situational awareness during a response time. So they gave us a seat. They said, sure, absolutely. Gave us a workstation, made us an activity member on the team. So that was a huge win. That was really catapulted us to a level that provided us visibility across the campus. Using our Esri site license, we're using ArcGIS Online to create our online presence. We're using the map books. Oops, I hit something. We're using the story maps to provide different opportunities to our student core to do storytelling, visual storytelling through maps. And we drive people to this page to get authoritative, open data, APIs. They can download it, whatever format they want. We're trying to start talks with our computer science and engineering groups to point them to these APIs so they can do custom web developments in their classrooms using authoritative sources of information. And then we leverage this and create a construction report. Again, another pretty easy win. This is a hosted layer on our ArcGIS Online instance. And we upload some attribute data. This is a huge win for campus. It's one of the most highly visited sites or web pages on the facility's website system. And it's fairly simple for us to do, and our students are doing this for us. Again, giving them real practical experience that they can take on the job market. And also working, again, internally, because we're part of the communications effort, on generating visuals that go along with campus notifications of things that are affecting pedestrian traffic or operations. So how did we get here? How did we go from talking about it to getting the tape measure out to all this advanced technology that we're using? Well, it started in 2006, a needs analysis, a working group, a bunch of people talking. Wouldn't it be nice if, fill in the blanks, I was not working in facilities at this time. I was working as a graduate student, but I was at the table because I was a geography student, a geography major. So I got involved and brought in police, transportation, risk management, environmental health, telecom, datacom, and we started taking notes about wouldn't it be nice, right? All these simple use cases. And then fast forward a couple years and we started installing survey grade monuments and benchmarks to validate because accuracy was so key and so important. We wanted the information that we were providing to be trusted. I love this quote because for the surveyor that we hired was like, GIS, you know what that stands for, right? And to this day, I still think it's pretty awesome. But it speaks to the fact that what we were trying to do was be survey grade, be reliable, be trusted, have credibility. So we started installing these benchmarks across campus. Then we chartered the group. My director, Helen Bailey, has been an incredible champion and support. Our previous AVP was, again, also a huge champion for this. There was a gentleman, Dr. Hunter, in the geography department who was an amazing institutional champion for this. All of this support generated in this charter. We initiated some equipment purchases, and then we started digitizing, right? Those talks with David, those field talks, those coffee chats in the mornings, building those relationships. People were starting to feed us information. Then we start, overlaying the plans on our GIS, digitizing lines. 2010, we invested in some aerial imagery. We started ground truthing what we could see, because that was easy. This is when our students started to get involved. I had individuals come to our department and volunteer for free because they wanted that experience, they wanted that exposure. Then the operations group started calling us saying, hey, we found this, we uncovered that. They would keep it open for us until we could actually go map the location. And using the dig test markings as well, again, what we could see. But we started getting a little bit of integration here with the operations side, the construction and the maintenance side. They were reaching out, letting us know what was going on so that we could get to it and they could then get to it later whenever they needed to know where something was at. But that was the open spaces, and so then we started getting into land surveying techniques, using total station technology to get into the tight spaces that GPS just couldn't really get to. We were using decimeter grade equipment at the time. We're now using centimeter grade equipment. But this allowed us to take that decimeter grade accuracy and get it underneath roofs, get it close to the building corners, and really build a tight base map. Then the capital construction work started happening. We were actively involved on job sites, new construction, so as things were being installed, we were working with the general contractor, working with the subcontractors to be on the job site, ready to accurately map where things were before they were buried. And then we got into the drone technology. And really, I told my AVP at the time, it's just a tool to take really nice selfies, right? But he's a big champion of the technology. We've proven its value. Again, just the ability to take accurate site photos, cool, right? Whoop-de-doo. But the photogrammetry aspect of this technology is amazing. It really, I'm so impressed by its utility. So digital terrain models, digital surface models, contour lines. In this particular case, we're using the tool to help validate quality control the site work and grading to see if the contractor was constructing up to the plans. And then again, you get the nice, cool shots, right? The videos, the promotional stuff, the really interactive, really cool imagery and videos that come from that technology. So this is my team. I have a part-time communications assistant. We're spread out over 6 full-time positions with a cadre of students. Really, we would not be where we are if it wasn't for the student involvement. They've been key. They are passionate. Again, that Generation Z cohort of students really care about what they're doing. They want to feel like what they're doing matters and brings value to them and to their institution and to their community. But we take that program very seriously, and we use it as a professional development and mentoring opportunity. We invest a lot of time in them. so that they are successful on the job market. We've had people work for major companies, co-found their own GIS and surveying companies, come back, talk to our students, get them networking opportunities, so they give back, right? They don't just go through our program and they're off. We try and keep a good, tight, close-knit communication with them to keep track of what they're doing, and then for them to share what work and what experiences and what's valuable and what's working in their careers, so that we can share that with our current student employee population. So we developed task books, competencies based on the body of knowledge, based on industry standards. We really talk a lot about professional ethics and how valuable that is and how important it is for them to do quality work, and treat them as a full-time employee. We have a high level of expectation for them. And I think that's really important because it shows that we care. We care about what we're doing. We care about where we're going as a team. We also get, the reason that we've been so successful, I think, is the outreach. So we are embedded in new employee orientation. For every single person that comes through facilities, they learn what is GIS. They learn how we can help them. They learn what we do. They know how what we're doing affects them. So we actually we're given an opportunity, we're given a platform to speak to every single person coming through facilities in whatever capacity. We developed, ways to reach out to our partners in the field. Hey, before you dig, give us a call. If you're removing stuff, if you find stuff, if what you're doing affects utilities, if you're moving a bench and putting a new concrete pad in and installing an asset on campus, we got to know. We have to be aware of what's going on campus. And again, we talk about the use cases and how important that utility and base map information is. So what's ahead? We are about to deploy an enterprise-capable platform, the Esri 10.6 platform. We're really focusing on building a really good internal and publicly available application. The majority of our history has been focused on data, good quality information, highly accurate, highly trusted, highly reliable information. So we've built some credibility there. And so now we're on the kind of that cusp of taking it outside of the desktop GIS, traditional, back of the department, feed them Mountain Dew and pizza in a box and leave the GIS people alone, to building and deploying an enterprise GIS application, working with departments across campus, those folks that I mentioned, parking, police, EOC, dining, housing, orientations, move-ins, building an enterprise working group, a committee that truly spans the campus, and we can serve our institution to the best of our abilities. We're starting some internal, inside of facilities, an internal user group. We've got people from all different pockets of our organization going, I really want to do GIS. I said, well, wait, we're kind of going to the online self-serve platform. Just give us some time and we'll get there. And until then, we can provide you whatever it is that you need. Just let us know. And they go, no, we really want to get into the program. Technicians, groundskeepers, housekeepers, they want to learn GIS because they kind of see how important it is to our department leadership. So they want to get some skills and kind of expand their capabilities. And we're talking to the construction engineering group. We're talking to business and marketing, the videography, the RTBF group, about deploying an actual UAS internship, very similar to what we have with GIS, but this time focused on UAS because of the burgeoning market that's out there for the folks with UAS skills. And that's it. I had a lot of information. I didn't want to, I blew through a lot. I probably left out a whole bunch, but I also wanted to hear from the audience if there's any questions, ideas, comments, concerns we can go back through. I know folks are anxious to kind of get on through the day, but I also want to thank CFTA for putting on this amazing conference and allowing me the opportunity to speak to all of you. I thank you for listening and actually being here. And if you have any questions, there's my contact information. Sure.
How many Twitter followers do you have?
Right around 500 Twitter followers, yeah.
Peter, I was going to let you guys know, when in 1990, the very first ever GIS classes were led by Dr. Diane Wally. There were 8 students. I was one of those 8. And so I started with that.
So Scott was one of the first, Scott Sires, one of the first geography GIS graduates through the University of North Texas.
Well, I said I attended the classes.
They can't hear that on the recording. Yes, sir.
My hat's off to you. You've done one of the most important things in making yourself successful, and that's involving the people and getting the community involved. And that's where I realize we have some great pieces of technology and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have the change management workflows. We don't have. I mean, it's been tough getting the buy-in from and the communication. And my hats off to you for concentrating on the quality of your data, but then also really getting the people in the process pieces together, because those are really crucial pieces of the system.
Yes, thank you. The people and the process focus was an intentional one early on. We knew that if we built something for our own benefit and because we think it was neat, it wasn't going to be sustainable. It needed to be a technology and a tool that was impacting the end user. And our focus at the time when we started back in 07, 08 was the frontline technician, the frontline face of our organization, whether it was a custodian, a groundskeeper, or someone with a wrench. We needed to get an understanding of their daily operations so that we could structure our data to capture what we needed to eventually feed it back to them. Yes?
So your construction map, how are you notified of when to put something on there or when to take it off?
Sure. So the construction map, we have a dedicated exercise every month to go capture that information. Go to the project manager and see if there's anything changed. Ideally, it only happens once, right at the beginning of the project, and everything's planned perfectly and everything goes to plan. So every month we put out a notice, and it's become routine. Some folks give us what we need. We typically release on the 1st. There's a live one up today. You can go to this website and see it. We start a week early. We send out a notice. Hey, has anything changed? If so, let us know. We kind of just keep track of this. Is all in a database, so we know who's responded and who hasn't. And a couple of days before we release it, we go knock on people's door and say, you haven't given us what we need. Remember, this is for the students, this is for the faculty, this is your responsibility. So it's ideally we would have in the future, once we have our enterprise platform built, obviously feature services and editing capabilities online. My vision is to have the project managers edit this information directly themselves.
And we have workflows in place for the project managers to notify us. And at first they did it very religiously, and it's over time they're not. And so it obviously isn't easy enough for them. So I was just wondering,
Right.
I mean, it's always about how easy can we make it for them.
Right, and I'm open to ideas and suggestions. Part of what my team is kind of working on, that business process improvement portion. For the past year, we've been really focusing on our project data management, right? So everything from who's the contractor to when are we supposed to be done, what's the budget, typical project data maintenance. And our leadership in the department has made it a very extreme focus to have good quality information primarily because we're building dashboards through a Microsoft Business Intelligence application called Power BI that we're publishing out to internal leadership, as well as delivering automated reports through SQL Server reporting services to our cabinet and associate vice president level. So we kind of forced the hand of the project managers to keep good, accurate information in our CMMS. And so one of the things that we're looking at is seeing if there's a way to marry some of the dates from the CMMS to some of this information here, but right now it's very much a manual process. Yes, George.
So as you're moving forward, you're saying you're moving to enterprise. Are you looking, I hope you're looking towards Survey 123 collector equipping those folks out in the field, so it's not you guys, but it's, hey,
Sure.
I got the power.
Right, right. So leveraging some of the Esri, mobile tools, Survey 123 collector. We're talking with our grounds department. One of an easy win that we're exploring is the pesticide and herbicide applications. So we have to report that to the state, Texas Environmental Quality Organization. So they can use that mobile app. Our technicians are mobile enabled, so that they each have iPad devices that they use for our CMMS system. So leveraging that technology they already have available to them to collect the longitude, latitude, and other attribute data to be collected, stored, and then we can automate that reporting for them. So yes, we are looking at some of those mobile tools. And I think I might be out of time. Again, I thank you all very, very much for being here and giving me your attention. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.